What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 27th day of November in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Prime Minister Mark Phillips was peppered with questions about the distribution of the one-off $100,000 cash grant and the timeline and structure for the actual distribution. He came on the questioning today in the National Assembly. The Committee of Supply of the National Assembly this afternoon approved $30.5 billion in supplementary funding to cater for the cash grant. When questioned about whether the $30.5 billion is sufficient to cover all eligible persons 18 years and older, the Prime Minister said if the government sees a need to return to the Assembly for additional funds, it will do so. He said the government's focus now is to begin the distribution exercise as soon as possible, as the registration process for the grant has already started. Opposition Member of Parliament Sherwin Holder pointed out that the sum only covers 305,000 eligible Guyanese. He said the Prime Minister and the government need to be much clearer on their plans since citizens are asking questions.
Mr. Speaker, in the initial announcement, we heard that it was 60 billion, a total of 60 billion to be disbursed. We've since seen some changes, and now we see the amount coming to the Parliament as 30.5 billion, which works out to about 305,000 persons 18 and above.
The Prime Minister hinted that while everyone will get the money, some persons might be pushed back into early next year, as there is just 1 month remaining in the year.
It is the 27th of November. The financial year finishes on the 31st of December. So it's just about a month. We asking for that money, and we're gonna pay out that money as fast as possible. Come January the 1st, we go into another budget cycle, and the remainder of money that is needed will be apportioned and allocated from that budget cycle. That is the easy answer. Everybody will get the money.
Pressed for more answers, he noted that the first in line to receive the grant are public servants, since their information is already in government's database. The Prime Minister, while being further grilled by opposition members Sherwin Duncan, Valda Lawrence, Annette Ferguson, and Amanza Walton Desir, dodged questions on the total number of Guyanese to benefit from the grant, and whether or not Guyanese have started to receive the grant, which areas outside of the public servants category would be targeted next, and on issues relating to registration. Senior Minister with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, jumped to the Prime Minister's defense and clarified that registration is required for all Guyanese, including public servants.
The reason why registration is required for everybody is because in addition to processing public servants' payments simply by virtue of the fact that they are in public employment, we are also registering in the communities. And the people who work in public offices also live in these communities. And so in order to ensure that we minimize and avoid and eliminate as far as we possibly can duplication, it is imperative that everybody be registered.
Registration for the cash grant has begun for public servants and residents of Region 9. The government said it will publish a schedule for various communities when it is ready to register other persons. Once registered, the government will verify the information before disbursing the grant to those who are eligible. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. It can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember, or one night to forget. one moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Phoenix Oilfield Services and Engineering Inc. is a 100% owned Guyanese company that specializes in supporting the growing oil and gas industry in Guyana. We do this by providing procurement services, civil and engineering services, facilities maintenance, janitorial, equipment rental, and servicing. Phoenix offers a wide range of products such as HDP bottles, cotton rags, Turkish towels, as well as absorbent pads as well, which we supply to the oil and gas industry. We also do engineering, so this ranges from the design to the actual construction of the projects. Phoenix Oilfield Services and Engineering Inc. is a proud local support company for the oil and gas sector, providing excellence in every experience.
Honey, what are you doing? Let's cash out. Let's cash out.
Shop $5,000 or more at any Massey stores for a chance to win a 2024 Nissan Qashqai Sense and $100,000 every 2 weeks with Massey Stores Christmas Jackpot Promotion.
The Global Super League has arrived. It's time for the Amazon Warriors to face their toughest test yet. Support your Warriors as they take on cricket powerhouses from Australia, Bangladesh, England and Pakistan. Tickets are available now at the box office or online at gslt20.com. The ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League. You don't want to miss this.
Well, tempers flared in the National Assembly this afternoon as the Education Minister Priya Manickchand was grilled about the ownership of Centaur Investments Incorporated and whether the company has been providing services to the Education Ministry. The National Assembly's Committee of Supply was considering the $119.2 million in advances that were utilized by the Education Ministry to cater for increased security charges when the issue came up. Opposition Member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipal asked the Education Minister to provide clarity on any ties that she may have to Centaur Investments. The question did not sit well with Minister Manickchand, who told the committee that she was tempted to not only deal with the message, but also the messenger. Minister Manickchand said she has absolutely no ties to Centaur Investments.
I have no ties. I have no ties to any security company anywhere in this country. None. Neither me, nor my husband, my brother, my sister, my parents are dead. None. Absolutely none.
She said that company was never issued any contracts by the Education Ministry under her leadership. Minister Manickchand, however, called on members of Parliament to refrain from bringing what she called cocoa top gaff into the House.
Bringing into this House the cocoa top gaff that is now allowed on social media because of freedoms might be something we want to guard against. But I will answer very clearly. After I saw that myself, I inquired as to the ownership of Centaur or Contour, and it is owned by a young Guyanese of African descent named Kwesi Monroe.
The owner of the company is an activist of the PPP and has close ties to the vice president. MP Manickchand said he was within his right to raise the issue in the National Assembly since it has been moved around the public space.
I just wanted to know if you had any ties, because that information...
So now that you know I do not, do you have anything to say? Being an honorable member and all.
I was merely asking, Mr. Speaker. I saw something in the public space.
I see a lot of things in... I see a space. You want to... This is an honorable house, young Manickchand, honorable member. You don't bring the street corner gaff in here.
Honorable Minister, please. You can take that line of answering outside of the house. So right now,
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Minister, I'm on my feet.
the honorable member should retract his earlier statement before we go forward.
Honorable Minister
He should
Teixeira, I'm on my
retract it, sir.
Honorable
Before
Minister
he's allowed to
Teixeira,
ask any other
I am
question.
on my feet. Honorable members, I'm not going to tolerate any breakdown in this aspect of our session this afternoon. And we have seen absolute disregard by two honorable members in this house. When a speaker stands on his feet, everyone sit and shut up.
An agitated education minister said the National Assembly should not have to deal with street corner gaff, prompting a response from the Speaker and the Chief Whip. The Speaker said he will not tolerate a breakdown in the National Assembly. A two-day restorative justice training program for magistrates opened this morning at the Carroll Lodge, with the Attorney General Anil Nandlal urging magistrates to refer, where possible, minor cases to restorative justice officers. Explaining from the onset that restorative justice does not apply to capital offenses involving violence or sexual offenses, including those involving children, the Attorney General said it would undoubtedly see a reduction in the number of cases before the court. Restorative justice focuses on the rehabilitation of offenders through reconciliation with victims and the community at large, and is often used for low-level offenses.
And these category of cases, why they are larger in number? Because there is a recurrence. And why there is a recurrence? Because our system was never designed to go to the root to find out why. What is the underlying cause of this repeated offender coming before you? It may be two neighbors.
Mr. Nandlal said by having a restorative justice officer sit with offenders and victims to hash out the underlying issues in a non-court setting may be very effective in resolving issues that are often placed before the courts.
A conversation, an apology, just letting out the bad blood can be sufficient sometimes to address these problems that have existed for generations. Restorative justice allows that to happen. In principle, it allows you to go to the root, to investigate the root cause.
Senior International Assistance Officer at the Canadian High Commission, Terry Clark, said restorative justice promotes healing and reconciliation, which are both essential for the long-term well-being of communities.
Restorative justice is a powerful approach that emphasizes healing, accountability, and the restoration of relationships. Unlike traditional justice systems that often focus solely on punishment, restorative justice seeks to address the harm caused by criminal behavior through inclusive and constructive dialogue. This approach not only benefits those harmed by giving them a voice and a sense of closure, but also encourages those responsible for harm to take accountability and make amends.
Clark said Canada is also cognizant that restorative justice can play a crucial role in alleviating the burden on the courts. Acting Chancellor of the local judiciary, Justice Janet Cummings, also spoke of the importance of restorative justice to the justice system in Guyana. The training program is being supported by the government through a partnership with the Canada CARICOM Expert Deployment Mechanism. A total of 434 students graduated from the Georgetown School of Nursing on Tuesday, representing one of the largest graduating classes in the school's history. The graduating class included 201 registered nurses, 171 nursing assistants, and 36 midwives. Addressing the graduating class at the National Cultural Center, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony said the government will continue to invest in training to further advance service delivery and quality healthcare in every region. He said even as investments continue in the health sector, it is important for health professionals to provide a high level of service while demonstrating both professional and empathy.
Now, your role in the health sector is extremely important because when someone comes into the hospital or come to a hospital or a health facility, in many instances they're at a very vulnerable point because they're sick, they need attention, they need care. And what we're looking for is a workforce that has empathy, that would be able to relate to that person in a very humane way.
The graduates who have been trained extensively in their respective fields will now join healthcare teams around the country, contributing to the continued transformation of Guyana's healthcare system. The health minister urged them to embrace lifelong learning.
Because medicine is something that you can't stop learning. Every single day there is new information about a particular disease or something that is going on. And every single day, if you follow the news, you would notice that there's some outbreak of something somewhere, and we have to pay attention to them, because if we don't, then we can end up with another outbreak turning into an epidemic, then into a pandemic, and we have problems.
Meanwhile, the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Narayan Singh, praised the graduates for their dedication, and he urged them to carry the torch of compassionate care. He reminded the graduating class of their critical role as advocates for their patients, often serving as their greatest source of strength during life's most challenging moments. Meanwhile, the Deputy Director of the Health Sciences Division, Chandruti Prasad, celebrated the graduates' perseverance and success. She praised their commitment to excellence and acknowledged the vital role of the faculty in guiding them through challenges in the field of nursing. She praised their commitment to excellence and acknowledged the vital role of the faculty in guiding them through challenges to this remarkable.
It's here again! The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union Festive Favorites Christmas promotion is here. Members, here is your chance to win and win big. You can win one of 10 50-inch television sets, over 40 grocery vouchers valued $50,000, one of 10 microwaves, one of 10 vacuums, and one of 10 Samsung cell phones. But wait, that's not all. Members also have a chance to win one 60-inch television, an air conditioning unit, a double-door refrigerator, a trip for two to Kaitro Falls, and a grand prize of $500,000. Yes, you heard right, $500,000. It's Festive Favorites at GPS CCU. To enter this promotion, you must be a member of the credit union in good standing and must have taken your first loan. Each member is entitled to only one coupon. Coupons are available at our Hatfield Street office and our representatives countrywide. Happy holidays from the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union. People helping people.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31st, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. How to apply for registration? You must visit the GCOM registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons from your area of residence to apply for registration or name change or correction. You must be in possession of the following source documents as might be relevant: original birth certificate or valid Guyana passport for new registration, original marriage certificate and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by way of marriage, original deed poll and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by deed poll, original naturalization certificate, and original birth certificate or valid passport in the case of naturalization. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, please contact GCOM on the following hotline numbers: 225-027729, 226-6557, 223-9650, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
The Global Super League has arrived. It's time for the Amazon Warriors to face their toughest test yet. Support your Warriors as they take on cricket powerhouses from Australia, Bangladesh, England and Pakistan. Tickets are available now at the box office or online at gselt20.com. The ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League. You don't want to miss this.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
The sod has been turned for the construction of a $4.4 billion hospital in Maruka Region 1. The government has described the project as a transformative one that will significantly improve access to quality healthcare services in the Barima-Waini region. At the sod turning ceremony yesterday, President Irfan Ali said the hospital's construction will turn a new page for Maruka and Region 1.
This morning, we gather not just to turn sod, but to turn a new page of Maruka. A page that tells the story of transformation, empowerment, and partnership.
The hospital will be constructed by a Chinese consortium and is expected to be completed within 24 months. It will have 45 inpatient beds and 20 general beds, a fully functional operating theater, and a modern emergency room, a pediatric and neonatal intensive care unit, as well as an intensive care unit and a maternity unit. It will also offer a range of diagnostic imaging and other services. The hospital is intended to benefit over 30,000 persons living in Region 1 and parts of Region 2. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony said the new hospital will complement the Smart Hospital at Mabaruma. He said investments will continue in the health sector. The government is looking to add another 12 health facilities to the region by next year and will complement the 13 telemedicine centers currently available in Region 1. An Eccles Industrial Site storage bond owned by Kaitour News and Venus Footwear went up in flames yesterday, completely gutting the bond and destroying all of its contents. The Guyana Fire Service was summoned to the facility just after 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The fire quickly spread out of control as it moved through the bond that was packed with stock for the Venus Footwear store and Kaitour News. Most of the items in the bond were combustible and aided the fire as the firemen battled the blaze. It is suspected that the fire began in a section of the bond that was being rented by a Chinese company. It took firemen more than 3 hours to contain the blaze to the one facility, as it threatened nearby buildings in the industrial site, which houses several manufacturing companies in the Eccles area. There were no working fire hydrants in the area. The fire has left the owners counting hundreds of millions of dollars in losses and damages, but they are promising to get back on their feet soon. A transmission tower belonging to Kaitro Radio, which is housed in the same compound of the warehouse, was affected by the blaze, temporarily throwing the radio station off air. The owner of the bond, Glenn Lal, said the facility was a warehouse for both his Kaitro News business and his wife's Bena's store. Most of the items in the warehouse belonged to Bena's and some other businesses that stored items there. The Guyana Fire Service says it is continuing its investigations. Attorney General Anil Nandlal has indicated that the government will continue to pursue legal action, both locally and internationally, against US-based Guyanese social media star Melissa Atwell, popularly known as Melly Mel. The Attorney General is suing Atwell for $100 million in damages for reportedly publishing a series of posts on social media that he considers to be patently fabricated, concocted, and malicious. The government is also looking to pursue legal actions against Atwell in the US. Speaking on his weekly television program Issues in the News last evening, Mr. Nandlal said he nor the government will be dissuaded from pursuing legal action against Atwell.
That neither myself nor the government of Guyana would be distracted or be dissuaded from pursuing the courses of actions which we have promised in relation to retaining our lawyers in the US. Well, we have retained the lawyers, and to instruct the lawyers to take the appropriate actions.
In court documents filed last week, the Attorney General also asked the High Court for an injunction restraining Melissa Atwell from publishing defamatory statements against him. And he also wants an order directing her to immediately remove all defamatory publications involving him from her Facebook page. Through his attorney Darshan Ramdani, the Attorney General said, with a following of more than 130,000 persons, Melly Mel launched a malicious and spiteful defamatory campaign against him. He said it followed an announcement by the government that through the Office of the Attorney General, it will be working with law enforcement agencies and law firms in the U.S. to take action against persons residing in the U.S. for publishing statements that are racist, inflammatory, and intended to incite violence. Those statements, the Attorney General said, which often target important functionaries of the state and persons in the private sector, amount to criminal offenses here in Guyana. According to the Attorney General, he never met Atwell, never interacted with her, and does not know her. In response to the Attorney General's lawsuit, Atwell, who is a resident in the U.S., said that she will respond in court to the case. She has also challenged the Attorney General to travel to the U.S. and take the stand in any case filed against her there.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to apply for registration? You are required to visit the registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons in your area of residence to apply for registration. Office hours, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 12 hours, 13 hours to 16 hours 30, and Friday from 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, contact the GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit the website www.gcom.org.gy.
What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Across the region tonight, the United States is imposing sanctions on 21 senior Venezuelan officials for their role in suppressing protests after a presidential election in July, including members of President Nicolas Maduro's cabinet, a senior Washington official has said. Washington says Maduro falsely claimed victory in the vote and that opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez is the president-elect. The Venezuelan government did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The U.S. will only be imposing visa restrictions on a number of officials associated with Maduro, the administration official said. Those sanctioned on Wednesday's list include Planning Minister Ricardo Jose Menendez and Communications Minister Freddy Alfred Nazareth, as well as top intelligence official Alexis Jose Rodriguez and Javier Jose Marcano. Also included is Daniela Cabello, an erstwhile pop singer and daughter of the Interior Minister, who now runs an economic promotion initiative. Venezuela's opposition, a number of Western countries, and some international organizations have decried the election as non-transparent and have called for the full publication of ballots, with some parties openly labeling the process fraudulent. In neighboring Brazil, Brazil's federal police have presented evidence to the Supreme Court that former President Jair Bolsonaro was directly involved in plotting a coup to overturn the outcome of the 2022 election that he lost, according to an 884-page report unsealed yesterday. The final police report, the result of a nearly 2-year investigation, lays out evidence gathered from search warrants, wiretaps, financial records, and plea bargain testimony pointing to a criminal conspiracy with Bolsonaro at the helm. The report said Bolsonaro effectively planned, directed, and executed in coordination with other officials since at least 2019. Concrete acts that aimed at the abolition of the democratic rule of law, with him remaining as president. The police also found that Bolsonaro had knowledge of a plan to assassinate Lula da Silva, the then president-elect, and his running mate, based on dialogue captured between conspirators and meetings at the presidential residence. The report cites 8 main pieces of evidence to back up the formal accusation against Bolsonaro in the alleged coup attempt, including a meeting he called back in December 2022 with top commanders of the armed forces, presenting them with a proposed coup and asking them to join the conspiracy. And finally tonight, international news. The BBC reports tonight that US President Joe Biden has said the US will make another push with regional powers for a ceasefire in Gaza, involving the release of hostages and the removal of Hamas from power. His remarks on social media come just hours after a ceasefire came into force in Lebanon between Israel and Hezbollah, ending nearly 14 months of conflict. Hamas said it hoped for a similar deal in Gaza, but continues to reject Israel's demands, which it perceives as surrender. Israel launched a campaign to destroy Hamas in response to the group's unprecedented attack on southern Israel back in October 2023. in which about 1,200 people were killed and 251 others were taken as hostages. More than 44,000 people have been killed and more than 104,000 injured in Gaza since then, according to the territory's Hamas-run health ministry. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the U.S. President Joe Biden had agreed with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu right before the announcement of the Lebanon ceasefire to try again for a Gaza agreement, which negotiators have sought unsuccessfully for several months. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable night.